In today's episode, I interview a supplement entrepreneur who's made every mistake in the book, but who's also had massive success. He's basically distilled down the supplement business into a blueprint that you can follow. There's lots to learn in this episode, and we'll break it down everything from traffic to conversion. We'll even talk about some conversion rate numbers and what it takes to succeed in the supplement business. If you've ever wanted to start a supplement business, or if you're in the supplement business, this is the episode for you. Welcome to Health Business Mastery, the Creative Thirst podcast. I'm your host. Today, my guest is Cody Bramlett, a supplement entrepreneur who scaled a supplement business to over $41 million in less than 6 years. Cody, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bobby, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah. Thanks for coming aboard and talking with us. I'm really interested in how you got your start, because that's quite an accomplishment in 6 years. That's quite a number to hit in such a short period of time. And when you're hitting 41 million in 6 years, you got to be doing something right? So I really want to understand how you got started, the struggles along the way. Take me back to the first day. It's okay, I want to be a supplement entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely. So we can go back even further too. I mean, I don't think necessarily my success is 6 years old or even 2 or 3 years old where the business really took off. It goes back to college and falling into learning from Dan Kennedy, Bill Glazer, who was also Matt Fury, those kinds of direct marketers. I was spending a lot of my extra cash when I was a broke college student and even a broke right out of college person on learning about that stuff. And so I think that the evolution and the ideas that I wanted to be involved in a direct marketing style business kind of evolved from back then and only grew over time.
Yeah, the old cliche, right? The overnight successes are 10, 20 years, 15 years in the making.
Yes, 100%. And usually it's a third or fourth company they've started. So it's not the first go around. So yeah, for me, basically, I started learning there. And from there, I was obsessed with fitness. So I really wanted to have a gym, and I wanted to sell P90X style DVDs. I was obsessed with that. And so I started learned about kettlebells, started taking kettlebell classes, got certified as an instructor, started trying to figure that whole thing out. The gym I worked at closed. I ended up starting my own gym just around the corner in a kind of a office park with a garage doors, kind of almost like a storage unit kind of park, and started running a gym out of that and grew that over time. Never uberly successful. I kept trying to apply marketing principles that I use today on a 100-member gym, which doesn't quite work the same. But that's kind of where I got the start and the taste for liking to market online, because I hated the one-on-one closing on people. I hated the need to follow up like crazy for $100, $200 a month membership. It was just a lot of work for very little reward. But then when I'd send an email out to a bunch of people who were potential clients about joining, all of a sudden you get 4 or 5 people that sign up online. And that concept of being able to sell through an email is what really led me into, I think, the supplement space and the direct marketing world in reality, because it's like Walmart. It's just so much easier selling to a huge audience versus a very niche, tiny, small audience.
Was the turmeric supplement the first supplement you started with?
Yeah. So basically, at one point, I was I went to Mexico with my brother, and he was doing quite well. He had started this online coaching business and was doing pretty well, teaching people how to work online. And I was complaining about how much I hated my gym. I was just like, this is exhausting. The people are paying me $100 a month and they're losing 30 pounds and then quitting, telling me it's too expensive and they can't stay committed. And I was just shell shocked by the results and then the lack of caring. And this is just typical America, right? People are just lazy. They want it easy, want it done for them. So you know what? I'm going to make something that will be easy and done for them so they don't have to try it all. And we were sitting in Mexico talking about how I don't want to run a gym or compete with him or anybody in the fitness world, because I'm just exhausted with teaching the same skill set over and over again. And he was like, we should look at supplements. I mean, I think the next big thing is going to be turmeric. We were kind of talking about that, kind of going over the next supplement that no one's really talked about. And that was back when there was 1 or 2 supplement offers available on ClickBank or any of the platforms.
Wow. So this was really early.
Yeah. And so basically I spent all of 2015 trying to figure that out, paid a $300 copywriter to write a sales page based on a story kind of blurred out on a recording, got it all built, paid some guy like $2,000 to do it. It was disgusting, not pretty. And he drove traffic to it and it had like a 0.5 conversion rate, 0.5%. And it was okay. And he goes, keep working on it. And I'm like, well, what do I do? He's like, you need another writer. And he just kind of sent me to somebody who we thought would be a decent person. Guy charged me $1,000, wrote a killer page, and retested it again. And it converted like 2.5% after doing like 1 or 2 split tests. And from there, it was just kind of optimizing. But the thing was just converting like gangbusters, that I could do a moderately low commission around $60, $65 per sale and still make 10, 12 bucks on the back end. And we were just converting customers like crazy. And that was kind of how it all got going. About a year of nose down, trying to figure out who to use, what suppliers to use, what systems to use, what email system to use, what CRM to use, which, by the way, every decision I made the first time was wrong. And then getting it up and running and going. And luckily having my brother, who had an email list, who's willing to give me that test. Because once it worked, it's just like, hey, meet this person. And then once your offer shows up on 2 or 3 big lists, all of a sudden everybody wants to drive to your offer. I literally had the first year only like 6 people drive to my offer because I had inventory issues. I was just literally being very choosy about who it was. And so, yeah, it was a huge learning curve with all those mistakes I made, which I can kind of talk about, I guess. But that's kind of how it kind of got going and launched.
I want to take a moment to talk about some of the struggles you've just listened to with Cody's story. Yes, there have been some successes in there and some luck involved for sure, but he's been through the trenches. He knows the mistakes he made. He knows what works. He knows what didn't. He's built the supplement business that you may be looking for. And he has a provable, repeatable, dependable 4-step blueprint that anyone can plug and play into their own to build their own 8-figure supplement company from scratch. If you want to learn more about that, go to creativethirst.com/blueprint. There's a link in the show notes. Now back to the show. You did get conversions right out of the gate then, right? It was a 0.5 conversion rate. It wasn't like you had no sales whatsoever. What traffic source were you using like initially on the first round or the first sales copy version?
So basically using a warm email list. So my brother had his email list and he was able to drive an email drop to it. And this is back when emails were different. This is when you make $4 a person on one email list, hitting them 1 email a day. Nowadays, most email lists are split on like 5 different email list segments, and they're being emailed twice a day. And someone's probably getting 4 emails from your company from different lists. Like, it's a very different email world. So he would just send an email out to like 10,000 people and, 0.5% conversion rate when you needed like 1.5% to be amazing at the time.
Right. Yeah. So they're already warm traffic. They probably weren't, beat up too much. Like they probably didn't get too many offers and emails. So they were
exactly. There's a huge difference in a customer list versus a leads list. So like I work with people and help them make their offer, as you know, make their offer stronger. And a lot of them are obsessed with these leads. Like, hey, should I have a pop-up on here? Catch the email. What the email? Leads lists are worthless unless you have a leads list company. And that requires you to have a whole funnel for opting someone in to a selling point. And you have to have an entire system about how you scrub them out, because leads will destroy your deliverability and cause you a whole shit ton of problems. So leads are not of any value. You got to find people with customer lists who are willing to send emails and help test it out. And, in today's world, there's tons of Facebook marketing groups, people with different email lists, Nothing Held Back, direct response marketing group. You can join Traffic Tribe and things like that, where everyone who is in this space has these communities on there where you can go, hey, I have a new offer. I'm looking for help from people. And a lot of people are nice and are willing to try and help, as long as you're set up in a good system and have a trustworthy way to get people paid their commissions.
So if you had sent it to cold traffic, it probably wouldn't have converted at all.
Yeah, probably not at all. And cold traffic is hard. Like, the people who really crush it on any of these platforms, you see ClickBank, Buy Goods, Digistore, and they have these crazy offers that just do well. It's because they have people who are black hat ninjas on these traffic sources. Like, there's just very few of these long form offers, video sales letter offers, that are doing great on any of these platforms that don't have someone who's a black hat ninja who knows how to run this stuff.
Yeah, both on the traffic side.
Yeah, they'll get kicked off these networks. They have to run things, they have to cloak things, they have to do a bunch of crazy shit, and there's just very few that do really well in that space. That's why everybody's kind of switching to this today's age to more of an e-commerce style page because it's less upsetting to customers, therefore making the customer experience happier in the eyes of Google and Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a whole nother story we can go down, right? As these traffic sources get more competitive, and as these DR companies have grown over the last 10 years, they're out competing the other ones. We're kind of they're forcing the market to go upstream and more of an e-commerce hybrid, or just a straight out e-commerce, which makes it a lot harder to convert.
It does. You don't have as much time to sell and connect with somebody. The whole point of those VSLs and sales pages is to get someone to know, like, and trust you in a one read, and they want to make a purchase. Those e-com style pages require multiple touches, which costs more.
Yeah. So those with the bigger wallets are in the game, and those that can't afford the traffic and can't afford to sustain that float, right? They're not going to survive that long. You came with the market at a very perfect time. Like it was the timing was right, the product was right, even the list was right. I would say the sales copy sounds like it wasn't the right fit in the beginning because you were just doing a 0.5 conversion rate. So then you went to bat twice. Then, like, how many A/B tests were in that period? How many like different versions of copy?
Yeah. So the initial version was called out like the beta version. That was out the door after one test. It was junk. I could just read it and knew it wasn't very good. I mean, I paid $300 for it, right? And then the next one, it was a far superior page. I think there was, like, besides a few headline tweaks, which my brother might have given me some suggestions on, I think we might have like done one part of the body we changed or reorganized. But it was really the meat and potatoes of the page was there from the first draft to the however long existed. I think 3 years that offer was live. And from there, it was just little things. It was split testing, the subject line, the call to action, the buy buttons, the price point, the bonuses on the page, where the buy boxes are on the page, free shipping, not free shipping. Those kinds of things were what really were the big tests that helped change and do well. One of the biggest things I've learned, and I've learned this over and over again, is my goal is to continually get customers. So if you can't control the traffic source like Facebook and YouTube, where you can particularly, how much money you're going to spend each day, if you have it converting right, you can determine how much you're going to make. If you're working with affiliates, your goal is to make it so your offer is sexy to them and they make as much money as possible. So I've tested in most of my offers a lower price point, which gets a higher conversion rate, which means for the same 1,000 clicks, I usually make the same amount of money on more customers. So let's say I make 1,000 clicks, I make $10. If I go high price, you get 2 customers, I make $10. If you go low price, I get 4 customers and I make $10. But the affiliate, the traffic source, doubles that revenue.
Yeah, because the customers are actually the lifeblood of a supplement business. You produce a constant need to fill in more customers into the business. It's always better to get 1,000 customers versus 2 customers, even though you're making the same $10. It's like, who do you want to pay? Like, do you want to pay Google, or do you want to give that money to your customers by reducing the cost of your supplement? Right, you're paying somebody either way. And you're right, the affiliates are all about CPA, cost per action, and the highest amount is going to win there all the time.
And that's what it's all about. So for me, it's always been about customer acquisition in every funnel I've created. This year, we're trying to have a more broad focus on profitability and getting our conversions up, and really working on that. What shape of the buy button converts the best? It's surprising. There is a difference.
Oh, I hate that kind of test. Yeah, that's the worst kind of test.
But it's amazing when you start to see results when you have enough traffic to be able to see those kinds of things. But yeah, it's all about getting the customer, because the email list is key. So when we first started before email really changed, I got to the point where I was generating $100,000 in revenue a month on my email list.
Nice.
Which is crazy. And that was when it was a one-man show. So I was just swimming in the dollars. It was wonderful, right? It was doing great. Email has since changed. We had huge problems. One 3-month period, we lost half the list because of spam issues. Because if you're not having proper list health, if your page domain is not set up correctly, if you're driving traffic to the same domain that has your email address, you're just setting yourself up for disaster and risk. But you can get it working again. Like this month, we're probably on course to do close to $250,000 in revenue for the email list. So it's just takes time, and all of a sudden that becomes your profit center for your company.
There's always something that breaks as you're growing, as you're scaling, right? It's just a constant game of what's going to break next and what's the next thing to fix, right? Email is always one of the things that breaks. So between the first offer converted at a 0.5 conversion and somewhere where the business is getting good traction, you're making good ROI, are we talking like 6 months, a year, 2 years?
Yeah. So for me, I think my first tests were in January with the beta offer, and then we rolled out again in March or late February, early March, the first version. And I think by April is when it worked. So it was probably like 5 or 6 drops before we knew it was where it needed to be. So solid 5 or 6 tests. And I think it's important for everyone that's listening to think about testing is not to be crazy and go drastically different with things. I've had a few people that I've worked with who've like, okay, we need to do this, this, and this, and they rewrite half the page. And I'm like, you're no longer testing things. You've now made an entirely new offer. So it's important to think about working on small price, subject headline, small bits of the lead to try and see what could really make the change to get it to work right. But yeah, it was close to 6 months. And by June, it was off to the races. I had a couple huge mailers thrown into it. I was running an inventory. I was having hell with that, trying to get all the systems to work together. And then I lost my first credit card processor around, I think, July, August in the first year. So it was a little chaotic.
And just another thing that breaks. I actually am on the other side of the fence with testing because I do A/B testing for supplement companies all the time. And I like to bundle tests together. So I like to bundle variables together and do like a radical redesign as a variable cluster test. Right. So rather than just to use a headline, and it really depends if you have something that's working versus something that's not working.
Yes, 100%.
Right. If you have something that's working, you don't want to break it. You don't want to change too much, but you still want to get more juice out of it. But you have something that's not converting at all, right? Like if you take your beta version to a cold list, you're not even getting a 0.5 conversion there. That's something where you did a radical redesign. You did a radical, completely different copy, maybe even changed the offer. I don't know. So early in the testing phases, I think radical redesigns work. And I think even later, if you structure them right, let's say your hypothesis is you want to create more proof. So there's several different elements you can do to do that, right? You could do new research, new lead. You could do a new endorsement, right? So those are 3 different things that you can do. You can do each one of those things individually, sure, if you had money and the time and the traffic and the resources. But if you bundle them all together, each one of those things is answering the same hypothesis of, does increasing proof increase conversion rate? You'll get a faster learn with lower traffic. The downside is if it loses, you don't know what element made it lose. Then you can come back around and kind of separate those elements out. But it's just 2 different kind of strategies for testing. What's your thought on that?
I think yours is exactly the same as mine. It's keeping everything consistent, or not consistent, but measurable. It's not like you're changing your headline, your buy box, and your guarantee, right? Those are three differently wild different things. You're talking about how do we add more social proof? Here's 4 spaces we're going to add it, throw it all in, everything at once, and go from there. So 100% agree to that. And at the same time, too, with my beta one versus the actual sales page, there was a drastic change there. But a lot of people, especially the people I've been coaching, they're working with great copywriters to begin with. So they have the page they're going to be using, the meat and potatoes already there, and trying to do a massive rebuild of something that did a 0.8 or a 0.6, and you're like, I got to change everything. No, you don't. You got to massage and pick and poke until you get it right.
A 0.6, 0.8, you can have a multi-million-dollar business actually at a 0.6, 0.8 easily.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it will require more work working with affiliates and trying to get the traffic to work right. But once you pass that like 0.6, 0.8, you have something that functionally works, and you could easily take it to 1.5 over the course of testing over 6 months. It's just a matter of paying attention and having a plan and getting your traffic lined up to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. If you're at a 0.8 on cold traffic, that is, you're printing money.
Oh yeah, especially on cold traffic.
Yeah. All right. So that's the time frame that it took you to get there. Now, what about the traffic side of things? Because you must have run out of your brother's list at this point. Like that was probably the full list for your beta.
Yeah. So I'm a huge affiliate network person, right? This is the world that I've learned. It's the world I was first introduced to. I was in masterminds with people who explained this and taught this before I even understood what it was. So my brother first was my affiliate manager. I say that loosely because he just basically fired off my link to a dozen people and said, promote Cody. And they were like, okay, sure, whatever, because Tyler told them to do something and Tyler's made them a bunch of money. So sure, why not? And so I had no freaking clue what was happening, why they were sending traffic. The whole concept meant nothing to me. I was so confused. It took me about 7 months to figure out, oh, okay, these are people just like me with email lists and they're promoting out other offers that are similar that are going to make themselves happy. Really easy concept. I was just really.
So you must have seen like just spikes in visit counts and spikes in revenue.
Oh yeah. I was like, I just did 40,000 sales this week. I'm invincible. Like that's all I could think about. And then I'd be like, wait, why did it slow down? I don't get it. He'd be like, oh yeah, we're going to have someone else mail. But that was also during a time when people would send 5 days in a row for an offer.
Yeah.
And today's world is much different. You're lucky if you get 2 cents from an affiliate for your offer in a month. Whereas back in the day, you had a dedicated week. It was crazy.
Yeah, if it's not converting, you're out the door. They got somebody else that they're going to fill that spot with.
Yeah, not only that, they're more gentle with their list. They're like, oh, I don't want to beat this offer too much. They want this offer to last 6 months. So they kind of just keep dripping it as they go throughout the year.
Yeah, that happens as more competition enters the space. Exactly right. Mm-hmm. All right, so it's all affiliate at this point where you're getting your traffic.
All affiliate. We've had probably about 10% of our traffic in history has been Facebook, and that's it. So probably 4 or 5 million of our 45 million or so of sales by now is been Facebook. The rest is affiliate, and I think it's the best example of this. When I first started my gym, my mom, who's just old school thinking, was like, oh my gosh, starting a gym is so risky. What if your clients quit? And I went, Mom, I have over 100 clients pay me money. What if my boss on my day job fires me? I have one boss who already know doesn't like me. Yeah. What's more risky?
Yeah, chance of 100 people quitting is not going to happen, right?
Exactly. So the affiliate world's easy because we have I think 360 affiliates we have on our network who promote our offers. So the chances of all of them firing us is next to impossible. But the chances of being kicked off Facebook or YouTube is much, 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 much higher likely. So I encourage everyone to get into the affiliate game, especially in the supplement and direct marketing and health space or the how to make money space, because that is just where all the people already are, and they're willing to drive traffic to your offer as long as you pay them right.
So let's talk about that, because there's a lot of pitfalls there. There's also the most obvious one, right? The affiliate is not going to drive traffic to your offer unless it's already converting, right? They want to know that they're going to make money, or you're going to guarantee them a cost per click. Right? So let's back up a little bit and start there, right? So the affiliate game can work on a cost per action, CPA, which is every time someone buys your supplement, you're paying them a fixed price, or it can work on a cost per click, CPC. You're paying them an X amount for everybody that clicks on the link. They may not necessarily buy. And maybe there are other affiliate models as well. What is the best model to use?
Yeah, definitely. So when you're starting out, there's 2 types, rev share and CPA. Those are the 2 biggest ones you want to go with. So CPA is just a flat rate, whether someone buys one bottle of your product or 50, you pay the same amount of money. And then rev share, of course, is a percentage of each transaction that happens that people buy in the funnel. You can use ClickBank, Digistore, BuyGoods, those platforms I would start out with, because you're able to have them run credit card processing and they can pay the affiliates out, traffic sources out automatically. That means people can trust you because they know they're going to get paid. And it's just kind of a more complete ecosystem. So with all that in mind, how do you get the first bit of test traffic? And so that involves being a part of groups and communities. So are you in a mastermind? Are you in a coaching group? Do they people in that group support each other? If not, why are you in that group? And then making sure that you are part of something that there is a sense of testing and helping. So a great example is on Facebook. There's the direct response marketing group. It's a bunch of affiliate managers. If you are lucky enough to get invited on that group and you say hello, and by the way, if you don't respond and you don't message within 2 weeks, she kicks you off. You got to be active. I'm no longer on there because I don't respond enough, but my team is. And they, if you post on there, I'm new, I have this new offer. Here's my stats from a test or two we did. Is anybody willing to help me? You'll be amazed how many people reach out to help. It's really about building that relationship with people too. So, couple good tips of advice on that. Number one, be everyone's friend first. Right? If you're talking to someone, you want to have a conversation with them, you want them to talk about themselves, you want to learn about them, you want to become their friend and see what they know, what drives them, so you can try and fulfill that need. If you can't fulfill it with a converting offer yet, maybe you can fill it with friendship, advice, conversation, whatever it is, who knows, some kind of connection. Secondly, if you can hire someone, not to seem sexist or weird like that, but just a female goes further than guys do. It's not always the case, but just for some reason, women are better salespeople than men. I don't.
Everyone loves talking to women.
Yeah, women like talking to women. Men like talking to women. It seems to make more sense. And but it definitely. I mean, I consider myself to be a salesperson, but my affiliate manager, first one, Savannah, she is way better than me. She crushes it, absolutely crushes it. So there is definitely something to be said about that. If you could afford to find somebody that could be your salesperson, definitely look for that, or just an outgoing person that it is. It's not saying if you're a guy, you can't by any means. I mean, I did millions and millions and millions on my own, but definitely it's a cheat to be able to go a little faster.
Right out of the gate, you need a test budget, right? You need a sales funnel, you need a test budget. How much would you budget for that test, either dollars or traffic, or what's some metrics that you're looking for that test before you jump to ClickBank?
Definitely. So the big thing is making sure first you're on one of those platforms, right? The ClickBank, Digistore, BuyGoods. You get on those platforms first. Those platforms can drive traffic. So like if you're on BuyGoods, you're going to start seeing clicks to your offer before you even ask for it. It's weird, right? They have tons of traffic sources and they're trying to find the next best offer. So you can get help that way. You don't necessarily need to spend money. I think you'll have a better investment investing in groups. Like for example, there's this group called Traffic Tribe. If you're to have an offer that works and you're not a part of that group in the health space, you don't know what you're doing. Like this is the space to be in. There's like 300 plus affiliate managers for all the top offers, and they all go in there and they all talk and learn from each other every single week, right? If you're an affiliate manager, you need to be there. So Amber Spears, call it for you there. But like literally, if you're in that group, that $300 or $400 a month the cost to be in that group will get you more in drops than you will by paying for it. Because there's so many list brokers out there, or people trying to sell drops, or people asking for cost per clicks for shit lists that do not work, that do not convert, that do not do well. And they're going to drive to your offer and be like, well, it must be your offer. And it's a sad, because there's just a lot of trashy people out there taking advantage of people. So like I personally would not recommend buying a list drop or doing anything like that. It would be getting involved in those communities and finding people who can help you, and then doing a make good for them, right? Let's say, hey, I need $500 to make this right, and it makes 200. Hey, you can do a make good to impress them. You don't have to, but that's the key. Anybody with a decent list has a testing budget, right? I'll test 5 to 10 offers a month on my lists. It's just what we do. Because if we can find the next one, we're going to hammer it before anybody else does, and I'm going to be able to make a lot of money in a short time span before everybody else gets their hands on the offer. And so a lot of the big guys already know that and are looking for that. So you get in these groups, you make friends with them, you find the people who are willing to test, you be as nice as possible, you be as good and friendly as possible, and they'll test your offers without cost.
So it's not really about reaching a particular conversion rate number, which I tell people all the time, right? It's really about holistically looking at the whole business and funnel.
100%. There's yes to both. So you need a 1.5 conversion rate. That's the winner, right? You get there on warm traffic, you have an offer that anybody will mail to. So that's your goal to shoot for. If you're below 1%, it's going to be harder because there's just too many good offers out there to compete with. So 1.5 is your magic number to shoot for, and you're testing to get to. But yes, the ecosystem of the entire affiliate network is key. You have to be friends with people, because even if your offer sucks and you're friends with people, the next offer you launch in 6 months and that one works, they're going to remember how nice you were, even if your offer tanked.
Your reputation follows you.
100%. If you screw up in that space, the entire group will just blacklist you in on Facebook, and no one will want to work with you. There's been that multiple times where someone comes in and is like, oh, this and that, and they make up false promises and lie or don't pay. That's the other thing too. The reason you want to be on ClickBank, Buy Goods, or Digistore is because affiliates want to get paid. There's people that owe me thousands of dollars and just do not answer emails. And it's a sad case. And even people that are decent companies that you think would be dependable aren't. So it's why you want to be in those platforms, because it removes that sense of fear or unsureness. And people are much easier to mail your offer because they just put in their little code, send, and they get paid.
So we've got some metrics, we've got sort of a plan. How do you know when you're ready, when you have an offer that's ready to scale? You've been testing it for a while. What metrics should we look for? What things we look for? What are some of the...
Yeah, so it depends on how much profit you can generate from a funnel. And I call operational profit plus the commission you paid for the traffic, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or a CPA or a rev share. If you take those two together, I call that operational profit. And so if you can determine your operational profit per order, that is the max amount you can pay out. If that amount and the conversion rate matches up to make the traffic source happy, you have a winner. So for example, if you have a 1.5% converting page, you can pay out between $85 and $100 commission to make the people happy. That's about the average for that conversion rate, which usually means you need a little more of an expensive offer, which means you need about $180 average order value or more to break even and have a customer. Now, if you're doing a lot of the offers I do, which are more the e-com style ones, they have $120 average order value and only about a $50 or $60 profit, operational profit. So the page has to convert twice as much almost to be able to make the affiliate the same amount of money. So most of these affiliates are looking for their metric, which is usually what they make per drop. And they'll look at it at ECPM, which is earnings per 1,000 cent. That's a big metric that Natural Health Sherpa and D helped, who used to work with them, kind of help pioneer, get everybody in our space to start looking at that metric. So that's a big one. A lot of people just care about earnings per click, but like that's just so inconsistent now that I think ECPM is probably the best metric that most people are looking to.
Yeah, when you smooth it over 1,000 visits, you get a more consistent ratio.
Correct. It just it's a lot cleaner that way and consistent. But yeah, so that's kind of what you're looking for. You need that decently converting offer, about 1.5%, and then you need to figure out how much you can pay out, and it has to all match up so that way the traffic source is happy.
What about on the product side and the fulfillment side, right? So you can have a sellout where you no longer have any in stock, which is actually a bad thing if you're doing paid traffic. What do you recommend there? Like, do you want to make sure you have the inventory before you scale, or is it the cart before the horse? How do you manage that?
Definitely. So inventory is a pain. Like we're bringing out gummies right now, and there's like no one who does gummies. So we're stuck with one supplier who can kind of do on-demand fulfillment, but kind of not. So like we're gonna have to manage that carefully. But most of our products we do is with what's called on-demand. So we basically choose a white labeled product, or we find a variation of white label product and have it turned into a white label from a manufacturer. Just basically have them make a new SKU for us. And you pay for it after it ships. So if your product is some kind of diet product with 4 or 5 ingredients in it, and everyone else has been selling it, it's being sold on Amazon, it's being sold on ClickBank, it's being sold here, and you relabel it and use it and call it something different, there's no reason why you shouldn't. By the way, you're not impacting or taking from the marketplace. People are sold on the company and the type of company it is and the story of the company, not on the product. So that's what the sales page is for. But having that on demand means you don't pay for it until it ships, and that they're dealing with inventory and keeping enough stock to handle you and all the people who are selling that product. So you're going to get a better deal because they're selling to 20 different customers. It's consistently being sold by all these customers, so it stays in stock, and then you'll never have to worry about scaling. So if all of a sudden the top 5 affiliates start hammering your offer, there's inventory waiting for you. Now, it took me 3 years to figure this out. Basically, I had ordered from companies in Georgia. It was a 6 to 8 week lead time. Had to put half the money down up front, and then I had to ship it to a warehouse. And then from there, I had to set up a fulfillment connection to the system that was not very easy to do, and then make sure it all shipped and went out. And usually it was a massive cluster, and it didn't work out as well as I hoped. Had a lot of upset customers who wanted refunds because things took forever to ship. And by the way, Amazon's ruined people's expectations of shipping time. If they don't get it in 3 days, you're already in trouble. So like it was a disaster. Luckily, one of my manufacturers started doing the on-demand side. And then after that, I came across 3 other ones that do it. And there's between these warehouses, there's probably 300 products you can choose from. So if you can't find a product close enough to what you want to sell from one of these manufacturers, then you need to be prepared to spend a lot of money and cross your fingers that it works. Because if you're doing it the white label idea, you have no risk. It's just your setup, as opposed to having to buy inventory and hold on to it.
So then it's just a game of cash flow at that point for scaling.
Yeah, and most of them are incredibly flexible, and most of the systems that pay out are paid out weekly, sometimes bi-weekly. So like you're as long as your margins are right, you're not losing money, you'll be able to pay everything exactly on time and never have a problem.
That goes back to what we spoke about earlier. As long as you're bringing in new blood, new customers into the business, that's what keeps the margins going. That's what keeps the whole machine churning.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too is being smart, reselling your products again to your customers. So if you have a list of customers, you're reselling them the same funnel, but you're giving them a coupon code or a free shipping code, something like that, to get them excited, or a buy one get one code or something like that. Using your upsells in your flow. So a lot of times in the supplement world, you have like, let's say turmeric's your sales page. Upsell, upsell 1's more turmeric. Upsell 2 is omega-3. Upsell 3 is probiotic. Using and selling your customers the omega-3 and probiotic as standalone pages.
Right, having a back end basically is what you're saying.
Yeah. As an email later, like you don't have to reinvent the entire page. You just duplicate the page, change your links out so it's a front end offer, change a little bits of copy so it says special one-time sale, and you're done. You can use those upsells as internal products. I mean, about probably 30% of our email revenue every month comes from internal offers.
How many products do you recommend for like someone starting a supplement company?
3. So you need to have one. It should go your sales page product. Then you have an upsell of more of the same, a downsell of discount of more of the same, and then upsell 2 is your second product, which will be complementary. So if you have a diet product, it's complementary to that diet product, or it's a gum or a magazine, something that people already use and already know about. So something simple like omega-3. Everyone already knows about that. Everyone already knows they should take it. So, I haven't taken omega-3 in a while. I'll buy that while I'm here. So it's either a complementary product or a generic product. The generic ones have to be at some kind of sale, because otherwise, what's the point? And then product 3 will be the exact same thing, another generic product or a complementary product. And that kind of formula will get you an average order value of at least 160, preferably probably closer to 180 on your first few tests. And then from there, it's just how do you get it over $200 and get the conversions to be at 1.5% in the front end.
That's the formula right there in a nutshell.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many more steps to it. I literally break down with my team 20 steps. Each step has 5 or 6 tasks involved in each one. We kind of break down an entire build out of an offer over 16 weeks. It's kind of it's an entire process I've developed for myself and my clients that's easy to follow, but there's a lot.
And is that where people can go together? So I put together an affiliate link at creativethirst.com/blueprint for your supplement millionaire blueprint. Is that what you're talking about now? Is that where they get all those steps?
Yeah, exactly. I spent the last year and a half helping people launch their offers, and a handful of people have excitedly launched in this last few months, and they're having great success. And it's exciting to see. The biggest thing I've been doing this whole time is not necessarily trying to make millions of dollars off this. It's really learning how to run my business better. And the better I can teach it, the better I can operate and run my team. So I'm excited by the fact that the better I can help people, the better I can help myself. But yeah, we basically created a whole system. We've turned it from a product into an actual coaching group. So it's not like you just download a couple PDFs and watch a few videos and you're left alone. We do weekly coaching calls that you're required to be on. And our whole goal is to help people actually launch supplement businesses and do $1 million in revenue in their first year. And we're looking for people who are actually interested in doing that. So I can help them learn to improve themselves in their business. And of course, learn from the teaching so I can get better myself.
That's super valuable because a lot of people don't make it through the course, or they just watch it and never take any action. So by having a group there and calls, you're not only answering the questions, but you're kind of leading them along the way. You're partnering with them in a way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And just I know I hate doing pitchy stuff. I don't really want to do it, but I'll say it anyway. We're normally going to do this for like $3,000 a month for a coaching program. But basically, anybody who's interested in joining our first month, which is the month of February in 2022, and I'll extend this through March as well, we're going to give them the offer for $1,000 a month. So basically, a third of the cost we're going to be charging, and that gives people the option and the ability to actually join the mastermind, learn about the process, follow our 20-step blueprint, so they can launch their offer in 16 weeks. And be there to ask and get any questions answered. Because you're going to learn from my affiliate manager, who's $1 million a month in sales, my operations manager, who runs the entire team. You're going to learn from our copywriter, who's an amazing copywriter, who's written multiple $1 million offers. And in general, just learn all the shortcuts. Because, as we were talking earlier, I have so many failures, so many mistakes, so many things I've screwed up on. My whole goal is trying to plug those holes so no one makes the mistakes again. It's
worth it just for that, just to avoid the pitfalls, because there are many pitfalls along the way to a multi-million-dollar supplement company.
There is. Yeah, and the whole goal is just to help. I love helping. I love seeing people succeed, and we want to build a strong community. And it's month to month. I don't just want people to find what makes them happy and stick with it, because you'll do great. There's certain coaching groups I'm in and will never leave because they sing to me, and I hope that ours will sing to you.
That's great. Thank you so much, Cody. I'll put the link in the show notes if anyone's interested. This was great. Thank you so much for your time today.
Love it. Thank you for having me on.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. To take advantage of the discount that Cody was talking about, again, go to creativethirst.com/blueprint. Again, that's an affiliate link. So if you do buy from that link, I will get a bit of a commission, to be completely transparent. Thanks for listening. Creative Thirst is a direct response digital agency focusing on conversion rate optimization and A/B testing. We work with dietary supplement companies who are struggling to maximize the profitability of their funnels so they can scale. Through the last 7 years in the online health space, we've optimized many dietary supplement businesses. And in that time, we've uncovered the 3 critical funnels for success. We put together that information in a free digital download called The 3 Funnels Every Health Supplement Business Needs to Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Empire. You can get that free report by going to creativethirst.com. Scroll down to the appropriate section and click on the blue Get Your ebook button.